Let's talk about the principles of exchanging educational and research messages with artificial intelligence tools. When we want to use artificial intelligence, we need to use phrases that are recognized by AI and incorporate our needs into those phrases. When this happens, AI actually provides over 90% of the output we were looking for. Generally, this is the theory. If you've encountered people using AI, for example, the most common one is ChatGPT. They start diving into it. When this happens, the artificial intelligence gives more than 90% of the output we were looking for. In general, if you come across this, people who use artificial intelligence, for example, the most common one is ChatGPT. They go and start digging in it. Sometimes it frustrates them due to irrelevant answers, questioning its intelligence. Harvard University published guidelines on using AI for academics. To work with AI, it's crucial to know how to communicate with it. AI content can be incorrect or misleading, so read the guidelines before using AI. The University of Michigan also provided guidelines on prompts. With DOS before Windows 3.1, we had to give commands. When you want to work with artificial intelligence and get output from it, how you communicate with it is very important. A key point in these guidelines is that the content generated by artificial intelligence can be incorrect, misleading, completely fabricated, or nonsensical. So it's recommended to read the guidelines thoroughly before you start using AI tools. So, according to these guidelines, let's talk about how to interact with artificial intelligence. The University of Michigan has also provided guidelines under the title of prompts or requests. For those who remember, back when we were working with DOS, before Windows 3.1, we had to give it commands to execute. When Windows 3.1 came out, the situation changed. Because he was automating the orders. When you clicked, it would execute the same command. Now the Windows have gradually made it more complete. It doesn't say to give commands regarding artificial intelligence. It says to state your request. Now, ChatGPT has actually laid out the principles of prompting on a big board. So when you want to work with ChatGPT, how do you start? We have 5 steps for crafting the best requests to artificial intelligence, so that right from the start, when we make a request, it can address over 60-70% of our needs with its response. If you've seen various artificial tools, they don't just give you one generation. It gives you 2 to 3 generations of that response. So at the same time, your request goes and it gives you 3 different responses. The answers are not far from each other. But the responses want to see which one you're leaning towards, so if you want to continue, you can actually expand on that one. Well, the rule says you should start with a concise phrase. So when I want to make a request, the phrase shouldn't be too complicated. It should have high clarity. We also need to prepare some background information for it. Then we need to give it the command and the format. Let's say what the text we want should include, and what is the desired output. From where do we want to have input? And in what style should it present the output for us? Sometimes we say we want a table at the end, and predict potential challenges for him at that time. To design a good prompt, first, explain the task needed, commands and formats and the elements and inputs. Ultimately, a model for the best AI request. When using AI, specify its role, act as a speaker, discuss this need, and perform the task. For example, a scientific presentation in physiology, specify the subfield, then analyze a specific topic. When I want to use artificial intelligence, I need to tell it what role I want it to play. I want you to act as a speaker and continue discussing this need and perform this task for me. For example, I have a scientific presentation in the field of physiology, and then I need to specify exactly which subfield. Then I come and say, I want you to analyze exactly which topic in this area. I assign to its task. Then I come and say, bring me an introduction. First, the details. Then let's discuss it. Then mention the important points and give me the conclusion. When I come in this way, I mean to say that as a scientific speaker, I need an optimized text. I actually provide the text myself and say, I've prepared this text for my speech, and I want it to be optimized. Then I come in and say what the keywords are that I want included. I give him the details, and then I mention what I don't want him to do, as it sometimes adds extra info. You can just say in the next generation, I don't want these. Focus on the format, Word or Excel. I want top 10 tips for a scientific speech to enhance audience perspective. Give it more focus. And what is the format I want? I want you to give me a Word format in Excel. What format should you prepare for me at the end? For example, I want the top 10 tips for writing a scientific speech, and I want to enhance the audience's perspective as well. We are currently in our current activities. Well, all dear colleagues have many jobs. The speed of scientific production in the past, for example, if we go back 50 years, science doubled every 10 years. With the advent of information technology, they said science doubles every 70 days. Now, science is multiplying several times every minute. The technology of information that came said that science doubles once every 70 days. Now, every minute science is multiplying. In this speed of scientific production, where do we fit in? And how are we going to update our knowledge and pass this updated knowledge on to our students? How do we teach our students to engage with these topics? This is a very important issue that now artificial intelligence tools are very active in this area and are helping. But we, as their users, also need to be able to use them correctly and actually have proper training on how to use them. One of my concerns goes back years. We established an innovation hub to stay ahead in various fields. Now, Idea Generator is accessible and helpful, mapping ideas in relevant fields. We set up an innovation HQ to stay ahead and push knowledge boundaries. Brainstorm AI is nearly obsolete, while Idea Generator is helpful, mapping ideas. We started a project in 2015. My thesis, System and Method for Measuring and Monitoring Innovation Intelligence, was rejected 13 times because innovation intelligence was unclear. Fortunately, now there are two tools available. One is Brainstorm AI and the other is Idea Generator. Brainstorm AI has almost become obsolete, and now the Idea Generator is accessible and incredibly helpful for the audience, allowing them to see related ideas in the active area. It essentially provides a mapping of ideas in that relevant field. So to do this, we started a project in 2015. My thesis topic was in the field for which I wanted to get my PhD. Interestingly, the title was System and Method for Measuring and Monitoring Innovation Intelligence. This proposal was rejected 13 times at our university, and they told me I had to remove innovation intelligence from it because it wasn't a clear concept. It took about a year and a half, almost 2 years, for me to finally register this proposal. Here we actually created a map for innovation intelligence, and we said that if innovation intelligence is to develop in an institution like a university, what dimensions need to be activated. One of those was the brand map discussion. What was actually overlooked? We need to have a complete map in line with our brand values so that this map can be developed in a convergent and integrated manner. So the result of this, in this session, I'm actually going to introduce a series of tools, specifically artificial intelligence tools in the field of research, because we are currently facing multiple tools, each of which has its own functions. When we understand how to use them well, we can make better use of them. However, when we enter without knowing their specific uses, it only partially meets our needs and makes us distrust that tool. When we know its functions well, we can definitely make better use of it. When we enter without understanding its specific uses, it only meets part of our needs and makes us distrust that tool. Why? Because it doesn't fulfill certain aspects at all. But when we enter exclusive use, it takes away part of our needs and makes us distrust that tool. Why? Because it does not bring forgiveness at all. Search literature has AI tools such as LSE, Connected Papers, and Research Rabbit. These three are more advanced than others. This set is taller than others now. This field is advancing and evolving, and it's really impactful. There might be a newer tool in 6 months that could put all of these aside. As a rule, this basin is progressing, improving. It has established itself. A newer tool could emerge that surpasses these. For instance, ChatGPT and Gemini are writing assistants. AI doesn't claim perfection. In writing assistants, for example, you have ChatGPT. And now there's Gemini, which is actually in the realm of writing assistants. Keep in mind, that these are assistants. So, when we talk about artificial intelligence, even AI itself doesn't claim to be perfect. All artificial intelligences say they are here to be your assistants. Matayeg, the expert assistant who has a mistake, will find the truth. You see, when a person is actually fresher in the morning, he has stronger diagnoses. At night, when a person gets tired, their accuracy decreases. But artificial intelligence doesn't have this fluctuation. It operates at a consistent level. So it can actually serve as a reliable assistant and help us. In the realm of grammar, there are also some bots and AI tools that help with data visualization in smaller data sets. Some of you might be familiar with tools like SPSS, while there are others that you might not know much about. Finally, regarding the initial tools I mentioned, LSE, for example, is a tool for quick searches and has about 126 million documents within it. This tool is incredibly fast. It tells you what articles are similar to your topic. And interestingly, when you want to do a review, it can quickly perform the review for you in each section. When you select the articles and it gives you the output, for example, if you say you want the introduction, it reads the introductions and tells you what this one said in its introduction and what the other one said, and it creates a table. The Rabbit researcher will come back and actually give you a mapping. Research Rabbit provides a table showing how often your article is cited and who referenced it. It maps related articles in your field. You can also input a topic to see related articles. Knowledge Map is a similar tool, mainly with Indian documents. It creates a map for fields like AI, showing subfields and global work. You can tell it your topic and it will show related articles. Another tool, Knowledge Map, isn't as good, but performs this function. Most documents are from India, but it has expanded there. If you want to work in artificial intelligence, it creates a map showing subfields and global work. Connected papers work similarly with overlapping functions. I'm waiting for your feedback on these applications. They might offer a free basic version. I looked at LSE, and you can pay a monthly fee. Thank you. No, you see, all three of the ones I introduced in the first row, they do offer you free services. If you want, it will come up with features for you. It says that if you want me to do these tasks for you, you need to pay this much money. But basic general needs are all covered by the tools I've introduced to you. Now, some of them say they give you 3 per month. Yes, but one suggestion we have is that if you have students in the class, all the students should have Google accounts. That way, we can sort of work around the limitations. We can divide the tasks so each of them has 3 accounts. If we have, say, 20 students in a day, we actually have 60 credits to use.
Excuse me, in the same area of development that you mentioned and writing articles, many journals now have a policy that if a paper is written with ChatGPT or other AIs, they will reject it. I think I faced some issues because I participated in workshops first and then went on to see the problems. I think it would be good to remind you of this because right now many journals have a policy that if this system is used, they won't accept it. At least from what I know, if a text is written with AI, it can be detected by other AIs. It tells you that you can recognize that this was written by AI and it can easily be detected, which creates some problems.
Just like I mentioned in this style with the Harvard guidelines, systems are meant to be your assistants, not to just hand over everything to them. What do you mean? Just like when you're writing an article, you rewrite it several times. You use ChatGPT as an assistant that provides you with some text. You're not supposed to just take that and hand it over to it. It should complete your ideas. I'm using it a lot myself. It gives me plenty of ideas. Why? Because when I give it the text with the same guidelines I mentioned about how to communicate with it, it opens up some areas for you that you hadn't thought about in that article. So if you were writing the article yourself, it would see it that way and would reject it. He said, this part doesn't belong in the article. So all these artificial intelligence tools we're using are meant to assist us. They're not supposed to take our place.